9 days ago, I lost my mom. She was very dear to my heart. I wish she had lived longer so she could enjoy more of me. I'm the last child in a family of 6 children, so you can understand how close I was to my mom. She would have particularly enjoyed watching this TEDx talk, but she's gone, and I miss her. It hurts. It's hard. I'm trying to be strong, and then to make her proud of the man I become and of the good that I do. I know I'll see her again in heaven. So goodbye, Mom. Today, my lovely wife is here with me at TEDx. Sweetheart, thank you for joining us. I spent 4 years in the university conducting research on water-powered energy. I wanted to develop water-powered automobiles and electric generators. So I came up with this special design of a water-powered engine, and I needed somewhere I could build a prototype. So I went to the Center for Energy Research and Development at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN, where I was schooling then. I met the director of the center, who incidentally is a doctor in mechanical engineering. So he studied my design, asked me several questions, at the end of which he proclaimed that my design was ingenious. And wow, I felt good. I felt like flying. You know, when a doctor in engineering criticizes your work as a student and then tells you it's ingenious, it means you must have really, really worked hard and done something great. So I felt very, very happy and excited. I told him why I came. I wanted to build a prototype and test my design. Then he told me that the center does not have funding for research, that the only funding they receive is for recurrent expenditures like salaries and other projects. Actually, on my way into the center, I saw buildings being erected. They were building some gigantic structures right and left. So I could not understand what he was saying. How could you have funding to build mega buildings and then you can't fund research and then it's a center for research? So I didn't believe him. So I traveled all the way from Nsukka, UNN, to Abuja, to their headquarters at Abuja, where I met the directors there, and I told them I wanted to build a prototype. They gave me exactly the same response, that the only funding they receive is for salaries. Imagine, Center for Energy Research and Development. I was building a water-powered engine. So that was sad for me. I didn't give up, of course. I continued. I went to Metallurgical Research Institute, MTI, in Onitsha, Anambra State, where I met the director of the institute and told him I wanted to build a prototype. He looked at me with such a surprise, and he asked me, who created this design? I told him I did. Then he asked me, don't you know where you are? Don't you know you are in Nigeria? How can you create something like this in Nigeria? For me, that was devastating. I felt demoralized. I felt confused. I was asking myself, does it mean because I'm in Nigeria, I should not think, I should not design? Does it mean Nigerians are forbidden from exploring their creative potential? As a young inventor trying to create new products, I faced a lot of obstacles. I suffered a lot. I didn't have access to a lab. I didn't have equipment. I didn't have funding or mentoring. I was all alone, all on my own. In fact, I literally walked under the sun and under the rain. I didn't have a lab, so the front of my house was my lab. In spite of all these limitations, I still continued with research and development. Today, I have 3 patents for my work. Thank you. There are hundreds or thousands of young Nigerian talents, Western, all across this nation. Nigeria's greatness lies not in crude oil, but in human capital. If these talents are harnessed, they will make Nigeria great. To harness these talents, we need makerspaces. Makerspaces provide the resources required to design and develop new products, to exploit people's creative potential. Makerspaces provide things like equipment, training, mentoring, and other support. Makerspaces are equipped with the facilities required to transform ideas into products. 10 years ago, I made a promise to myself. I promised that I wouldn't allow people like me to pass through the same sufferings I passed through. I promised that I would provide the solution. Today, I'm glad I'm keeping my word. 27th October last year, I founded Clintonell Innovation Center, CIC. CIC is Nigeria's first indigenous makerspace, located in Aba, the university. Aba is a city well known for ingenuity, trade, and hard work. So CIC is proudly made in Aba. I also founded Hardware Nigeria Community, HNC, which is a nationwide movement to industrialize Nigeria. It's made up of Nigerian inventors, engineers, makers, entrepreneurs, young industrialists nationwide who are committed to building products in Nigeria. Today, HNC has chapters nationwide. Nigeria needs makerspaces because makerspaces transform societies. Makerspaces will transform Nigeria in so many ways. Makerspaces enhance STEM education. In the classroom, we learn about sciences, physics, chemistry, mathematics, and other subjects, and students don't see a relevance for those things they learn in classroom beyond the grades on paper. So it becomes boring. Performance drops. Interest in sciences are declining. At Makerspaces, students get to interact with machines and equipment designed and built through the principles and theories they learn in the classroom, thus arousing their interest in sciences and engineering. At the Makerspace, after visiting the Makerspace, students begin to aspire to become great scientists, great engineers, so they could build the gadgets and machines that they had seen at the Makerspace. CIC has introduced over 500 secondary school students from 52 schools to practical STEM education. That's a programmable robot, one of the gadgets the students interact with. This robot is an intelligent machine which receives instructions from your phone or your laptop. So you can give instructions to this machine with an Android phone or a laptop, and the machine will interpret the instructions and carry out your instructions. Students have a lot of fun interacting with this machine. Makerspaces support research and development. Imagine if I had a makerspace then in school when I was doing my research. What would have happened today? At makerspaces, people see the convenient environment and to support them in researching and developing new products. Here is a lecturer from the Makerspace University Mudike with his engineering students conducting experiment at CIC. They came to us Thank you. They came to us for support. They were researching on how to recycle waste plastic into filaments, which is used in 3D printing. We owe a 3D printer in CIC. 3D printing filaments are not produced in Nigeria. They are hardly available. We have to import. So the cost of importing these filaments are very high. So we decided to create and build the machine, which will make the filaments locally. So we designed and built a filament extrusion machine, which you see on the screen. So two machines are there, filament extrusion machine, which converts plastic, normal plastic that's used in making plastic tables and products. It converts those plastic into a wire, which we call filament. This wire-like plastic is used as a consumable in 3D printing. So they came for experiments, and they used this machine. The second machine is an automatic spooling machine. After the extruder has produced the plastic wire, the spooling machine coils it into turns, and then it is this filament in rows that we feed to the 3D printer. Surprisingly, in that machine, in those machines you're seeing, we have wiper motor. The keke, tricycle, the wiper is part of what we used to build the machine. V-boot wiper motor is also in this machine. This machine is built with locally made materials in Aba. Makerspaces support product design and development. Here is a team of young people from Federal Polytechnic in Ekede. They were trying to create a new product, an electronic device. So they came to CSC for support. So we give them support and guidance in product design, designing for manufacturing, designing for reliability, and we helped them to even build a prototype, which they took to showcase to investors. These students may go on to build other great products which will make Nigeria proud through the support they get from Makerspaces. Makerspaces complement tertiary education. In the university, especially in engineering faculty, we learn about manufacturing processes and machines and equipment, and most of us don't gain access to those machines and equipment. These students are from engineering students from Makerspaces University who are learning additive manufacturing technology, which is the modern way of making things in the world. One of the machines that is used in this technology is a 3D printer, rapid prototype machine. They've never seen a 3D printer before. They've learned about it in class, maybe written and passed the exams on that, but they don't have any practical knowledge of that. But at CIC, for the first time in their life, they saw a 3D printer, an additive manufacturing machine. And they didn't just see it. They came with some designs, and we worked with them from design level. We fine-tuned their design. They saw how it is being fine-tuned. And we sent their design to the machine. They were there. They watched how the machine was producing their design layer by layer. Right before their eyes, this machine transformed their designs into physical objects. Those are the objects that you see on the table. So these young engineering students, they will not graduate with theories. They are graduating with practical knowledge so they can make meaningful contribution in our society. That's why we need makerspaces. Makerspaces are breeding a new generation of entrepreneurs and job creators. At Makerspaces, people come in with ideas and then transform these ideas into products and businesses. Here is James. James is a teenage entrepreneur. He had founded a company called Jambek. Jambek, through the support he got from CSC and our facilities, he has created 2 new products: a locally made power bank, which is cheaper and very reliable, and a mobile phone charger. Some phones, when their charging circuit is damaged, you can't charge the phone from the charging cable again. You are forced to bring out the battery from your phone, charge it somewhere, and reinsert it, which is very inconvenient. Jambek has created a solution. With that device, you can see the device in red, Jambek. you can charge your phone even though the charging circuit is damaged. It has an external charging circuit. James now sells his product to several customers. In fact, most of the sales he has come from referrals from happy, satisfied customers. James is an entrepreneur, self-employed, and then soon we begin to employ more young people. Makerspaces are breeding entrepreneurs and job creators. Makerspaces fuel industrialization. Nigeria needs an industrial revolution. Of course, we rely very heavily on importation. So we need industries. We need local alternatives to imported products. Makerspaces will fuel this industrialization. Here is a team of engineering students at CIC building a 3D printer, which is an advanced manufacturing machine. If they succeed with this project, they may go on to build other machines for different industries, driving industrialization. They may even go on to build consumer products, which we'll be using in our homes, creating jobs, creating local substitutes to importation, and then strengthening our currency and our economy. Makerspaces are effective means to bridge the gross skills gap in our society. Of course, we know about it. It's popular that we have many unemployable graduates, people who have certificates and they don't have the skills. So because they lack the skills, they cannot contribute meaningfully to our society. Makerspaces equip young people with skills, skills that they could use in the manufacturing industries to drive industrialization. 2 weeks ago, IC signed a partnership contract with PIND, Foundation for Partnership Initiatives in the Niger Delta, for Skill Up Abia. Skill Up Abia is a project to train and empower 90 young persons in Abia State. These young people will be trained in computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, and renewable energy. Also, they'll be trained to become entrepreneurs and job creators. Some of them will end up being employed as skilled labor, driving our industries. Some will go on to become entrepreneurs. Some will still go on to become great industrialists. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. With CIC, we have taken that first step. So join us in this exciting journey to transform Nigeria through the power of Makerspaces. Thank you.